You're listening to Little Rockers Radio, and today we are chatting to Erin Mayo, editor of Mother and Baby magazine, this time about reading to your little ones. Hi Erin, how are you?
I'm well, how are you?
Yeah, I'm really well, thank you. Now, there's a lovely article in this month's Mother and Baby magazine called Once Upon a Time that talks about the benefits of reading to Bub. At what age should we start to look at reading to our children?
Look, there's no specific age. We sort of do recommend, starting as early as possible, and there's no reason why you can't start even reading to your newborn. Most of us, though, do sort of tend to do the bedtime story once they're a little bit older, but we do know that 75% of brain development actually happens in the first 2 years of life. So if we start reading early, it's just a beautiful bonding experience as well.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? You cover some of the benefits of reading to children in the article. Can you share with us some of the benefits of reading to children from such a young age?
Sure. So studies have found that there's a difference in the neurological activity in the brains of kids who are read to and the brains of kids who aren't. So those who are read to, a study has shown that it actually can raise IQ point by up to 6 points, which is quite amazing. And we also know that kids soak up the most information just before they go to bed. So if you are reading a bedtime story, that's the time where, they're really learning the language through the words in the books and rhythm and things like that. So it's just a lovely learning experience for kids as well. And while we might think it's a really nice way to wind down, that's actually when kids are taking in the most. So, sitting and reading a really rhythmic book helps them learn the structure and pattern of language, how a sentence sounds become intuitive, and also if they are a little bit younger, the words and how to talk.
And one thing that I found beautiful, which I didn't think of at the time, was watching them when they wanted to start reading themselves, but they obviously couldn't read, but reading the pictures from the books. I just found that such a beautiful stage.
Yeah, it is. And, if you're running your fingers along the text, they understand that those are the words that they need to read and how to read, and reading from top to bottom and helping to, turn the pages and things. You're really actually setting up the building blocks for them to enjoy reading for the rest of their life.
It's a really good way to wind down as well.
Definitely. And it also stimulates their imagination as well. You know yourself when you read a book, you conjure up how you expect that character to be. Yes. So it's really helping kids sort of nurture that in imagination, which is great.
Now, I asked before the interview today what some book recommendations were from the Mother and Baby team. What are some of their recommendations for favourite books to read to their children?
Yeah, well, and I'm sure a lot of us have already got these in our bookshelves, but some of the books that we particularly love is The Gruffalo.
Yes.
Because that's got a really great use of rhyme and it's really imaginative for the kids. Some of the other ones are Going on a Bear Hunt, where you can actually act that book out and do all the actions with you. Harry McClary from Donaldson's Dairy, again, which is a great rhyming story. Very Hungry Caterpillar, which is one that's been around for a very long time. I remember when I was a kid. Kids really learn from the repetitiveness. And it's also just a beautiful story about how the hungry caterpillar, grows into a butterfly, and it's just really lovely. And the other one is Eat, Peach, Pear, Plum, which is a bit of a tongue twister, but it's really great for getting kids to join in and go through the words with you.
Yes, yeah. And I actually, after I asked you to get some recommendations, I had to think back to what my children really loved when they were young. And Harry McClary was definitely top of the list. They just loved, and they actually loved all of the Harry McClary series of books. The other one, which my son absolutely adored, was called Goodnight Moon, and that was one that I used to read to him at night time, where you say goodnight to the moon and the bed and the chairs in the bedroom and everything around. And I found that was a fabulous book for helping him to go to sleep, because everything else had gone to sleep. So now it was time for him to go to sleep as well. And that was a beautiful book too that I'd completely forgotten about until I started to think back.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well. I mean, apart from the educational value of this, it's just a really lovely bonding experience to be able to, sit in bed and read with your child and read a story and have that experience between the two of you. I love it.
Well, thank you again for joining us today on Little Rockers Radio and talking about reading to our bubs, and we'll catch up again soon.
Definitely.
You can find more information on reading to your bub in the current issue of Mother and Baby magazine, which is the June-July issue. It's on shelves in newsagents, selected Coles supermarkets, and you can also purchase it online from magshop.com.au. That was Erin Mayo, editor of Mother and Baby magazine on Little Rockers Radio. Thank you for listening.